Wolverine, James Howlett. Logan, Wolverine. The man with the adamantium claws and the healing factor. But here's what most people don't know. Wolverine was never supposed to be the weapon he became. He was supposed to be controllable. The Weapon X program found Logan and saw potential. A mutant with regenerative abilities and animal instincts. Perfect candidate for their super soldier experiment. They kidnapped him, strapped him to a table, and bonded indestructible adamantium to his entire skeleton. The process was excruciating. Every bone coated in liquid metal while he remained conscious, feeling everything. But here's where it became a mistake. They used memory suppression techniques to make him compliant. Electroshock therapy, psychological conditioning, brainwashing designed to turn him into their perfect assassin. They wanted a loyal weapon who would follow orders without question. It didn't work. Not completely. Logan's healing factor fought the conditioning. His mind resisted in ways they didn't anticipate. The programming held for missions, but fragments of his true self kept surfacing. Memories bleeding through, humanity refusing to die. Then came the breaking point. During one procedure, Logan's animal rage overwhelmed their control. He went berserk, slaughtered the scientists, escaped the facility. The Weapon X program created an unstoppable killing machine, but they couldn't control it. Their perfect weapon became their worst nightmare. Weapon X intended to create a soldier. Instead, they created Wolverine, a man haunted by experiments he can't fully remember, driven by instincts they can't suppress. Fighting to reclaim humanity they tried to erase. Their mistake? Thinking they could break someone who'd already survived everything. Logan's survived wars, loss, and countless battles. Weapon X just gave him claws. Dr. Octopus. Otto. Octavius was brilliant. A nuclear physicist and mechanical engineer whose work in atomic research earned him respect across the scientific community. He developed a harness with 4 mechanical arms designed to safely handle radioactive materials from a distance. Precision instruments controlled by a neural interface linking directly to his brain. Revolutionary technology that would change scientific research forever until the accident. During a routine experiment, something went catastrophically wrong. A radiation leak caused an explosion in his laboratory. The blast fused the mechanical arms permanently to his body. Metal bonded with flesh, but the radiation did something worse. It damaged his brain. The neural interface that once controlled the arms became a two-way street. The mechanical arms weren't just extensions of his body anymore. They were part of his nervous system. And the radiation corrupted the connection, warping Otto's personality. His brilliance twisted into megalomania. His ambition became obsession. Before the accident, Otto Octavius was arrogant but rational. A man who believed himself superior but channeled that belief into achievement. The explosion didn't just change his body. It fundamentally altered his mind. The trauma, combined with the radiation's effect on his brain, shattered his moral compass. Dr. Octopus was born from this accident. The arms that were meant to protect him became weapons. The interface that enhanced his capabilities now fed his delusions. His genius remained intact, but his goals darkened. World domination, proving his superiority, destroying anyone who stood in his way, especially Spider-Man. Otto never wanted this. He was a scientist pursuing knowledge. The mechanical arms were tools, not an identity. But one explosion, one moment of miscalculation, turned him from researcher to supervillain. Dr. Octopus is a cautionary tale. Brilliant minds pursuing innovation without considering consequences. One laboratory accident created one of Spider-Man's most dangerous foes. Not through choice, but through circumstance. Punisher. Frank Castle wasn't always the Punisher. He was a husband, a father, a Marine who served his country with honor. When he returned from war, he tried to build a normal life, a quiet existence with his wife Maria and their 2 children. They were his world, his reason for leaving violence behind. Then came that day in Central Park, a sunny afternoon. Family picnic in the park, his kids playing, Maria laughing, normalcy, peace, everything Frank fought for. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. A mob execution happening nearby, rival families settling scores, bullets flying. Frank's family caught in the crossfire. He tried to protect them, threw himself over them, but there were too many guns, too much chaos. When the shooting stopped, his wife and children lay dead. Frank survived. Physically, at least. The mistake. The mob never meant to kill them. Frank Castle's family was collateral damage. An accident. Wrong place, wrong moment. If they'd been anywhere else. If the mob had waited 5 minutes. If Frank had chosen a different spot for their picnic. But there are no do-overs. No second chances. Just a man broken beyond repair, standing over the bodies of everyone he loved. The justice system failed him. Courts made deals with the men who destroyed his family. Reduced charges. Plea bargains. Legal technicalities. Something inside Frank died that day. The loving husband. The caring father. The man who believed in the system. All gone. What remained was rage. Purpose. The Punisher. He became judge, jury, and executioner. Waging a one-man war against organized crime. No mercy, no hesitation. Every criminal he killed was revenge for a family stolen by someone else's mistake. The Punisher exists because of an accident. A random act of violence that destroyed one family and created Marvel's most brutal vigilante. Frank Castle died in Central Park. Only the Punisher walked away. Deadpool. Let's be honest. Deadpool himself is kind of a mistake. And I'm not even talking about his origin story yet. When artist Rob Liefeld created him for New Mutants, though in '98, writer Fabian Nicieza looked at the character and said, "This is Deathstroke, DC's Deathstroke." Slade Wilson. Even the name, Wade Wilson. It was so obvious that Deadpool began as a parody, an accident that became iconic. But Wade Wilson's transformation into Deadpool? That's an even bigger mistake. Wade was a mercenary, good at his job but dying of cancer. Terminal, no hope. Then he heard about Weapon X, the program that created Wolverine. They promised a cure, healing factor derived from Wolverine's DNA. All Wade had to do was volunteer. He should have known better. Nothing's free. Weapon X didn't cure him. They tortured him, subjected him to horrific experiments designed to activate mutant genes. The healing factor worked, but it didn't eliminate the cancer. It couldn't. The cancer was too aggressive. Instead, something horrifying happened. The healing factor and cancer reached equilibrium, both constantly growing, both constantly fighting. Wade's body became a battlefield, regenerating and deteriorating simultaneously. His skin scarred beyond recognition, his face a patchwork of dead and living tissue. But the worst part? His brain. The constant cell death and regeneration affected his mind, scrambled his thoughts, made him erratic, unpredictable, insane. Deadpool's trademark humor, his fourth wall breaking, his complete disregard for consequences, all side effects of having your brain cells constantly dying and regenerating. Weapon X wanted another Wolverine, a controllable super soldier. Instead, they created something completely unpredictable, a mercenary who can't die but can't be sane, who makes jokes while slicing through enemies, who knows he's in a comic book and doesn't care. Deadpool was a mistake on every level, a character created as a ripoff who became more popular than his inspiration, a man tortured into immortality who lost his sanity in the process, an accident that became Marvel's most unpredictable anti-hero. Venom Spider-Man went to space. Secret wars. Heroes and villains transported to Battleworld by the Beyonder. During battle, Spider-Man's costume got shredded. He needed a replacement. Thor and Hulk told him about a machine that could create new costumes just by thinking about what you wanted. Peter found a machine, went inside, thought about a new suit. A black sphere appeared. It covered him, formed a sleek black costume with a white spider symbol. It looked amazing. Enhanced his powers, produced organic webbing, never ran out. Best suit upgrade ever, except Peter used the wrong machine. That wasn't a costume creator. It was a prison. The black sphere wasn't fabric. It was an alien symbiote, a living organism that had been contained, studied, locked away. Peter accidentally released it and bonded with it. The symbiote enhanced everything, strength, speed, webbing, but it had a cost. It fed on Peter's emotions, made him more aggressive, influenced his behavior, wore him when he slept, taking him on nighttime patrols he didn't remember. The suit wasn't clothing. It was a parasite trying to permanently bond with its host. Reed Richards discovered the truth, used sonic waves to separate them. The symbiote, hurt and rejected, fled, found Eddie Brock, a reporter whose career Spider-Man had ruined. Brock hated Peter Parker. The symbiote hated Peter Parker. Perfect match. Thus, Venom was born, not from planning or intention, from Peter Parker using the wrong machine on an alien planet. One mistake created Spider-Man's most dangerous enemy, a creature with all of Spider-Man's powers, none of his limitations, and an overwhelming hatred for him. The symbiote was supposed to remain imprisoned, studied but contained. Peter accidentally freed it, accidentally bonded with it, accidentally showed it Spider-Man's powers. Every move Spidey made, every technique, all absorbed and remembered. When it found Eddie Brock, the symbiote had complete knowledge of how Spider-Man fought. Combined with a host who knew Spider-Man's secret identity and personally hated him, disaster. Venom exists because Peter Parker pressed the wrong button. One accident on Battleworld created a nightmare that would haunt him for decades. Winter Soldier. Bucky Barnes fell from a train in the Alps in 1945. Everyone thought he died. Steve Rogers mourned his best friend. The war continued. History moved forward. But Bucky didn't die. The fall should have killed him, but Hydra's earlier experiments on him kept him alive. When Soviet forces found him in the snow, missing his left arm, they saw opportunity. A super soldier, enhanced by Hydra's experiments, still alive despite catastrophic injuries. They took him, brought him to Arnim Zola, the same scientist who'd originally experimented on him during his captivity. Zola had defected to the Soviets. He gave Bucky a cybernetic arm. Then began the real horror. Brainwashing, memory suppression, electroshock therapy so brutal it should have destroyed his mind. They wanted to erase Bucky Barnes and create the perfect assassin. But here's the thing. Bucky's mind fought back, harder than anyone anticipated. His memories of Steve Rogers, of the Howling Commandos, of being human, they wouldn't die. The conditioning worked during missions, but between assassinations, fragments surfaced. Recognition, emotion, humanity. So Hydra adapted. After each mission, they froze him. Cryogenic stasis. Keep him on ice between assignments. That way, his memories couldn't fully return. His resistance couldn't build. Every time they thawed him, they could reinstall the programming. For 70 years, Bucky existed in nightmare intervals. Thawed, programmed, mission, frozen, again and again. Never aging, never fully aware. The Winter Soldier wasn't supposed to remember anything. That was the entire point. Erase the man, keep the weapon. The mistake? Hydra underestimated human resilience, underestimated what friendship meant. When Steve Rogers finally confronted the Winter Soldier, something broke through. Recognition, hesitation. The programming cracked. Hydra created the Winter Soldier from Bucky Barnes, but they couldn't completely destroy who he was. Their perfect weapon was flawed from the beginning, because you can't fully erase someone who refuses to be forgotten. The Winter Soldier was their greatest assassin and their biggest failure. They wanted a machine, got a man fighting his programming every moment, a mistake that would eventually cost them everything. Taskmaster. Tony Masters had photographic reflexes. From childhood, he could watch someone perform any physical action and replicate it perfectly. Watch a cowboy rope trick on TV. Do it immediately. See a professional athlete's technique? Copy it flawlessly. Natural-born gift. Incredible potential. Tony became a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Married another agent, Mercedes. They worked together. Built a life. Normal as possible for spies. Then, during a mission, everything changed. Tony found a dying scientist, Nazi researcher, shot and bleeding out. Before dying, the man gave Tony a syringe, experimental super soldier serum, Nazi version, designed to enhance abilities. The scientist's last act, passing it to an enemy. Tony didn't know what it was, but he injected himself anyway. Thought it might be important, might help the mission. It worked. His photographic reflexes enhanced exponentially. He could now copy abilities at superhuman levels. Watch Captain America fight? Fight exactly like him. See Hawkeye shoot? Match his accuracy. Every hero he observed, every fighting style he witnessed, added to his arsenal. But there was a cost. The serum had a catastrophic side effect nobody anticipated. Every time Tony copied someone's movements, absorbed their techniques, he lost his own memories, personal memories, experiences, relationships, his past. The more he used his gift, the more he forgot. His wife, his history with S.H.I.E.L.D. Eventually, his own name, his identity erased by the abilities that made him formidable. Tony Masters ceased to exist. Only Taskmaster remained. Mercedes found him. Realized what happened. She couldn't restore his memories. They were gone, overwritten. But she could guide him. She became his handler. The org, feeding him missions, keeping him focused. Hoping maybe somehow he'd remember her. He never did. Taskmaster doesn't remember being Tony Masters. Doesn't remember loving Mercedes. Doesn't remember choosing to be a hero. He operates as a mercenary, training henchmen, taking contracts. All while his wife secretly feeds information to S.H.I.E.L.D. through him. Taskmaster was never supposed to exist. Tony Masters made a mistake. Injected unknown serum. Thought he was helping. Instead, destroyed himself. Created a character with incredible abilities but no past. No connections. No identity beyond copied moves and forgotten memories. The tragedy? He's helped save the world multiple times. Through Mercedes' manipulation, he's been a double agent feeding intel to the good guys. But he'll never know. Can't remember. His greatest accomplishment erased by the same gift that makes him dangerous. Carnage. Cletus Kasady was a serial killer. Pure psychopath. 11 consecutive life sentences at Rikers Island. Killed his grandmother as a child. Burned down an orphanage. Murdered anyone who crossed him. The system locked him away and threw away the key. Then he got a cellmate. Eddie Brock. Former host of Venom. Separated from his symbiote, waiting for it to return and break him out. Cletus entertained Eddie with his philosophy. Murder as freedom. Chaos as purpose. Death as art. Disturbing, but Cletus passed time. When the Venom symbiote came for Eddie, it initiated a jailbreak. Bonded with Brock. Started destroying everything. Prison riot. Chaos. Perfect distraction for escape. What nobody knew? The Venom symbiote was pregnant. Symbiotes reproduce asexually. Spawn offspring. During the violent rescue, the Venom symbiote gave birth. Left its newborn behind in the chaos. The offspring, confused and alone, searched for a host. Found one. The worst possible one, Cletus Kasady. Serial killer. Already violent. Already murderous. Already completely insane. The symbiote bonded with him through a cut on his hand. Merged with his bloodstream. Became part of him on a cellular level. The bond was instant and absolute. Carnage was born. Not from planning. From accident. The Venom symbiote didn't intentionally leave its offspring. Didn't choose Cletus as host. The baby symbiote didn't seek out a killer. Pure chance. Wrong place. Wrong time. Wrong host. But the combination proved catastrophic. Venom struggled with morality. Eddie Brock had some restraint. Carnage. Zero. Cletus already believed murder was freedom. The symbiote amplified everything. Made him stronger, deadlier, more chaotic. Carnage became more powerful than Venom. The offspring surpassed the parent. Enhanced by Kasady's complete lack of empathy. No internal conflict. No hesitation. Just pure unleashed violence. Spider-Man and Venom together struggled to stop him. The symbiote made a mistake bonding with Kasady. It was young, confused, needed a host. Grabbed the closest one. Didn't understand what kind of monster Cletus was. By the time it realized, too late. They were one, inseparable, perfect union of alien predator and human psychopath. Carnage shouldn't exist. Random chance created Marvel's most violent villain. A symbiote offspring accidentally bonding with a serial killer. One cosmic accident unleashing red chaos on the world.